Yes, you did. You tuned into Act 3, and we're super glad that you did. As always, we have a tremendous show for you, and we're really glad that you're here. On today's episode, we have a little bit of music. We're going to have a whole lot of fun. We're going to talk a little theater. We're going to do a little exercise. Well, maybe we're going to do a little exercise. We're certainly going to talk about it. And we're going to have a wonderful June, July episode. And so I suggest you do what we always do, and that's grab yourself a beverage, make yourself at home, and enjoy the program.
I'm sitting on the edge of love and happiness. Never experienced such a moment as this. So if you got that good feeling in your body and you want to bring this moment to life, come with me, we'll hit the town. Let's go right now and live the life. I just want to shine like the sky up like a sunset, living with no regrets. I just want to shine.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Act 3. I'm your host, Kevin Wagner, and I'm joined today by a familiar face and a new face for us here at Act 3 Media. They're part of Reconciliation Theatre. We've had the great honor of watching that theatre group grow and evolve in our community in the last few years, and they're here today. Dan, Pete, thank you very much for joining me.
Oh, thanks for having us again. It's always good to be here.
Sure enough. Dan, why don't we start with you? Reconciliation Theatre, you know, this is you've been part of the brainchild of it. It's been going for a few years, you and Tom Rokeby. It's grown, it's developed, it's evolved. Tell us how it's going right now.
Oh, it's going splendid. We've grown the company to the point where we can have new faces and new people kind of doing the shows, which is why Pete is here. Let's see. We have a website now, reconciliationtheatre.ca, where you can actually buy tickets now rather than just our Facebook site. So we're moving up in the world. We're finally up to that upper echelon.
You are, and where it began and where it is now, like just the touring aspect, your few years of doing these tours in the seasons, that alone is just kind of evidence of how it's growing and developing, it seems to me.
Yeah, we're doing another tour. We're actually going to be taking this show to Inclusion BC again this year in Richmond. We're going to the River Rock Casino before we start off our tour here in Nanaimo, June 27th to the 1st for the Nanaimo, as well as we're going to be hitting Ladysmith, Courtenay, Campbell River, and Victoria.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So
Quite a tour of the island, Richmond included this time for Inclusion BC. You mentioned new faces. Pete, that brings us to you. Pete Kytwayhat, you're here, part of Reconciliation Theatre. You're actually directing this season's production. Tell me a little bit about, you have a performance background, you're kind of newish to the island, and you found Reconciliation Theatre. Tell us a bit about how you came to meet Dan and the group that he's a part of.
I moved from Vancouver. I feel like a lot of couples, by having a new addition to the family, and they kind of get priced out of Vancouver, they make the big leap across the sea and come to Nanaimo. And being an artist, I just don't give up on it. So I started Googling who's who in Nanaimo, and I ran into Holly Bright at Christmas Dance Coast, and they introduced me to Reconciliation Theatre and these fine people. And I kind of just really dove in head first and got involved, attending AGMs, joined their writer intensive program that I had a few months back. And during some of their meetings, they're talking about doing this new play called, it's not a new play, it's a play by Drew Hayden Taylor, The Boy in the Treehouse. And they're looking for a director. And I never directed before, but I felt like I could ask. It doesn't hurt to ask. And they really enjoyed the idea and they liked it. And here I am, the director of the play.
And that's interesting to me because directing just seems like a daunting task. That's just my impression of it. You've been now working with this group of people, you know them, you've been directing, the performances are coming up. How's that experience been for you as a directorial debut?
It's full of anxiety. You're always worried. You're worried about doing the wrong thing or saying the wrong thing. Because first and foremost, me as a performer, I always just wanted to have fun in theater space, and I kind of wanted to my directing to reflect that experience, and for me that's what theater is. It's very fun, it's very enjoyable, and if the performers and the crew can't enjoy it, then what's the point of doing it?
Absolutely. it probably spares Dan a bit of abuse from Tom Rokeby, the old director. He knew how to get under your skin, didn't he?
It's nice to take a break from this production.
Pete's giving us a break from Tom. We're joking with Tom.
He's just over there. He's
in the halls here. He's watching.
He's only
It's
crying
fine.
a little bit.
Yeah. So you did an original play. You wrote last year's play.
Yep.
This is we're returning to material from a playwright, a Canadian. I believe he's. Sorry, remind me his name.
Drew Hayden Taylor.
Right, sure.
Yeah.
And then tell us what this play, in a nutshell, what is this play about? Pete, why don't you give us a bit of a rundown on it?
Well, not to sound long-winded,
You can give us the Reader's Digest version, it's fine.
It's about like a young boy who goes into the treehouse to pursue a vision quest, and it's kind of tied to maybe the loss of his mother, and is close to the anniversary of that death. And the father is having a reluctant experience, just trying to get him down or wondering what he's doing up there.
Right.
Yeah. And the conclusion is you have to see it at reconciliationtheatre.ca. And you can buy some tickets and you can see how it ends.
There. Good teaser, Pete. Good teaser. Okay, we do have to wrap it up. It sounds like the material sounds really interesting, and it's an exciting opportunity, I suspect, for you. But and Dan, just kind of some new direction from a new director. That just sounds like a neat new opportunity for the tour. So.
Oh, it is. I'm really happy to have Pete here, and it's great to see Reconciliation Theatre thriving the way it is right now.
Absolutely, and kudos to Tom. He's in the halls here watching. So Tom Rokeby, well done. Congratulations, sir. But Dan, for our viewers, let us know how can people find out more about the theatre group, but more so the tour that's coming up in the dates.
Oh, just like we were just talking about, reconciliationtheatre.ca. We finally have a website. Check it out. You can learn about us. You can learn how to figure out how to volunteer, and you can figure out about our show dates. And yeah.
We still haven't figured out Tom, though. We're working on that.
Yeah.
Okay, no.
It's fine. It's fine.
We're gonna leave it. Pete, thank you so much for joining us. Dan, to you as well. Good luck with the tour this summer, gentlemen.
Thank you very much for having us.
My pleasure.
Alrighty, Kevin, thank you so much. That was a great interview. Tom, I'm real sorry about that, but it is so much fun to have a laugh with you, and thanks for playing along with us. We sure appreciate it. So next up, we're gonna listen to some tunes. I have Kelsey with me, and Laura, oh my God, this chick can sing. I'm so happy to see you. Tell us a little bit about what you've been doing lately.
Thank you, Kathy. It's wonderful to be here on Act 3. I really appreciate it. Thank you for having me. And I've been recording in the studio, and I have been playing a lot of shows as well, all around town. And yeah.
Well, it's such a treat. It really is a treat to
thanks.
listen to you, because the music that she sings, there's a depth to your voice that I don't get, I don't hear often in this kind of depth. And so I'm curious, who are the people that you love to listen to? Where did you come up with this incredible sound?
I think a big part of it is finding your own voice. I feel like my speaking voice is a lot different than my singing voice. I don't necessarily like my speaking voice. I think most people kind of feel that way too.
Yeah.
So just shaping it in a way that feels good, and finding your true voice inside and being able to express that.
It's wonderful. I don't think that we should let the audience wait for any longer. I think it's time that we sing a song, and I believe you're singing Voices from the Earth.
Thank you.
Thank
Yes.
you.
Thanks so much.
Enjoy.
Thank
Enjoy,
you.
everybody.
Being called away, away. I'm gonna lay down here on the open road. I'm gonna sink right through, let it soothe my soul. Explore the hollows of the earth, completely covered in dirt and worms, and cursed to be a part of the endless cycle. Being called away, away. By a voice that somehow knows my name, powerless to the winds of change today. Being called away, away. I'm gonna weave a web right across the land. I'm gonna catch the sin that by its hand. Release the armies of the deep, the ancient forces that keep us all from breaking. Oh, being called away, away. Oh, is it all just a dream? Is it all just some complicated, unconscious part of sleep? Are we on our knees, ignoring the voices pleading, explaining what the world needs? Being called away, away, by a voice that somehow knows my name. Powerless to the winds of change today, being called away, away.
And that was Laura Kelsey with her original song, Voices from Earth. I'm always reminded at how talented of a crop of performers Nanaimo creates, and I heard her speaking about change in that song. I've got Jennifer Hufnagel today with me from Hufnagel Consulting, and we're here to talk about a big change that's coming for all of us in the future. Hi, Jennifer.
Hi, Jeremy. How are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. Tell me about Hufnagel Consulting and what exactly it is you all do there.
Awesome. So I am a consultant, operations consultant, but really an AI readiness specialist and an AI educator. I've completely pivoted my consultancy over the last 2.5 years to focus primarily on AI, getting businesses ready, and AI education.
So you work with artificial intelligence.
I do.
Just to be clear, you don't create artificial intelligence.
No.
You teach people how to use artificial
Absolutely,
intelligence.
yes.
So what are some ways that an average person would use AI in the world right now?
Well, it's interesting. There was a study from the Harvard Business Review that the number one reason why people were using AI, specifically large language models such as a ChatGPT or a Claude, was for therapy, actually. So that changed. So a lot of people are using it for therapy. But there are some really neat things to do that are non-work related. You can take a photo of what's in your fridge and it can tell you what's for dinner. But from a workflow perspective, you can create content and social media. You can help it write. It can help you write grants. It's really that tool, that guide on your side, or my sister says, that genie in your pocket, that teammate.
So it's more than just making pictures or giving prompts. I saw somebody give a prompt of show me a wizard next to a waterfall. What is a more, I don't want to say, because maybe that was productive for that person, but what is a more productive way that I might utilize AI in my day-to-day life? Like, what could I make better?
You can look at some of your workflows. So let's say you're doing some data analysis or reporting. You can upload data, again, anonymously and redacted. You don't want to put your client or customer data in there, but it can do analysis for you. One of the ways that people are using it, if you're not an expert in Excel or Google Sheets, it will help you actually come out with those really neat and long formulas so you don't have to phone a friend. Whether it's creating social media content, planning an itinerary for trips, it can help you write any type of speech, but it's really when you start to integrate it into your day-to-day, that's when you get to that next level. There are no real experts right now. I call myself an AI enthusiast, not an expert, and we're all learning together, this learning journey. There are so many use cases out there.
Help orient the rest of us. Why aren't there experts? Why isn't there somebody I can call and say, hey, how does my AI work? Let's say I had Elon Musk's phone number. Why wouldn't he necessarily know the answer?
That's a whole, we don't have enough time to talk about that, Jeremy.
I'll ask AI for it later.
Yeah, absolutely. You can ask ChatGPT. It's so new. I always equate it to, so what were you doing in 1996?
I was just barely being born.
You're barely being, of course, I was just barely being born. No, I was in my first year of university. I left my small town of the north end of Vancouver Island, went to UVic, and I was 17, first year of business school, and I was trying to frantically learn the internet like many people. So I always equate, there aren't experts yet because this is brand new, we've never seen it. And I always say it's kind of like we're in 1996, but in 2025. If we knew then what we know now, why wouldn't we be all in with AI?
Well, I have a friend that took one of your workshops, somebody that you all might be familiar with at home too.
Yes.
And she won't stop talking about how useful it is. It's been just a couple of days, and it feels like her life has repositioned itself. And it's, just, what is the question? I guess, how do you know what the right question to ask AI is? I'm afraid if I open it up, I'm going to ask the wrong question.
You know what, there isn't really a wrong question, Jeremy. It's really about prompting and really prompting, let's not gatekeep this. This is really just talking to robots, communicating really well. And if you enter like garbage in equals garbage out. So the idea is if you do instructions, context, style, and tone, that's the best prompt. You have to tell it who you are, a little bit of information, and give it a goal. It's like this, this assistant maybe that you've hired and they don't really know anything. Context is so important. So you can't really mess it up.
So it sounds, in some ways you're describing a new skill, but it almost sounds like you're describing learning a new language or a new type of literacy. Is that?
100%. We need to learn how to talk to robots, and it is weird.
Yeah, give me, it certainly can be, if the internet has anything to say about it. Tell me a little bit more about your workshop. We're getting tight for time, and I could talk about this with you for probably hours. I have a lot of prompts for the human.
Yes.
But tell me about your workshop specifically. What's a skill I may leave your workshop with?
Absolutely. Really, the number one skill is to have an AI mindset and to think, can I do that? Can an AI do that? I'm not sure. Go and try and practice and play. And if I could give anybody a tip, it would be don't use Google for 2 weeks. Download a large language model such as ChatGPT and just start using it, and you'll start to see the power of what it can do. And so really that cultivating that AI mindset. Yes, we're learning how to talk to robots as well and creating those prompts. And that would be in a general workshop. I do customized workshops for businesses as well.
So super fast, one hot tip for AI, and how can we get a hold of you? How can we find you?
Absolutely. So I think the number one tip is, because our digital adoption is so low, is to use it instead of Google for 2 weeks. You can get a hold of me by Hufnagelconsulting.ca, Hufnagel consulting.ca, on LinkedIn. I live in the New Bay. I'm close by. I have an advanced ChatGPT workshop coming up June 25th, and I'm happy to chat with you about any other customizations that you need.
Thanks, Jennifer. We're super glad to have you here today. And for anyone who's curious, her information is just below the screen. We're going to toss it over to Teresa for a health minute.
Thank you, Jeremy. We are going to be talking fitness and strength training today here on the Wellness Minute. And my guest is Rachel with Return to Fitness. Hi, Rachel. Thanks for being here.
Hi. Thanks for having me.
Rachel, we're going to be talking a little bit of Pilates, which may or may not be familiar to some people. But before we do that, I'd love to know a little bit about your background and your fitness background.
So as a teenager, I was a figure skater, competed competitively, have gone to nationals for synchro team.
Wow.
And then as an adult, I got into kettlebell sport and competed at Worlds and came home with 2 gold medals in 2017.
Wow, congratulations.
Thank
That's
you.
amazing. And then you took your sport background to being a teacher and helping others.
Yeah, it's kind of been intertwined. So when I was in university, I started doing my Pilates training, which really helped because I was doing a kinesiology degree. So it actually just helped me understand what I was learning. And then I was very, very fortunate. I had a client who was a physiotherapist when I was a Pilates instructor. And she said, when you're done here, you're going to work with all my clients. And she just really helped me build the beginning of my career so I could use Pilates to help people recover from injuries as a kinesiologist.
Well, that's wonderful. Mm-hmm. And I know a lot of people don't understand what Pilates is. It's kind of a mystery, and they know maybe some of those big machines. So can you tell us, what is Pilates and what are the benefits of Pilates?
So the reason it's called Pilates is actually a man named Joseph Pilates designed it. And he designed it for a variety of reasons. He was hired actually by the military to help people who were in hospital beds and recover from injury. So there's old pictures of these hospital beds, and he created springs and pulleys to help them move. And this is kind of where the beginning of the concepts of the reformer and the Cadillac come from. Then he moves to New York City and he meets a woman and she's in the dance community, and then he very much gets known to be part of the dance community. And so that's where it has the dance repertoire, but he has like a gymnastics background, a boxing background, and he integrated a lot of this. And then he also studied animal movement. So there's videos of him walking like a cat and behaving like various animals, and then using that to create movements. And a lot of the movements have funny names because they're named after animals.
Yeah, so there's a lot of thought, research, and science that is involved with Pilates.
Before its time, really, because it was back in the 1920s and 30s.
Wow. So what are some of the benefits? I mean, as we grow older, mobility can become an issue, balance, and that sort of thing.
Well, and that's exactly it, like balance, fall prevention. So we do a lot of standing exercises to help like strengthen the hips, improve posture. It just creates body awareness in general. Someone who has osteoporosis or osteoarthritis is really gonna benefit because it's gentle on the joints. So someone who needs a low impact, low aerobic exercise, this is an ideal one. Especially if they've never exercised previously in their life, it's a good place to start because of how gentle it is on the body.
And gentle, we want to be gentle. We want to build strength and keep mobility and be gentle.
Well, and I think too, also it's going to help with the balance and the flexibility, but it's also going to build the strength. So the resistance within the springs on the machine, but the props that we use will help build strength within the body. And then we use our own body weight as well.
Wonderful. And Pilates, you can use the machines, but you don't necessarily have to. So just before we wrap up, can you tell us a little bit about sort of the difference, the mat Pilates versus the reformer Pilates using the machines?
Yeah, so mat is on the floor, but we don't always spend our whole time on the floor. We'll stand, we'll come down to the floor, we'll lay on our back, on our sides. The reformer is a raised bed is what we call it. It has springs, but it moves, and that's where the resistance comes from. So you're using an apparatus to support you to execute the exercises, but the reformer actually complements the mat. So you actually get a benefit if you're doing both of them.
Wonderful.
And they just both posture, balance, coordination all together.
Wonderful. And of course, if people are taking the mat Pilates, they can then use it in their own homes and continue that at home.
Yes.
Rachel, thank you so much for being with us here on the Wellness Minute. Really appreciate you.
Thank you for having me.
Now we're going to go back to Laura for another wonderful song, Hunting Season.
It was when the rock spoke to me, 5 years already gone. Now the birds gather close to see, hear my last song. Wings dart in between the trees, like the unknown light in the cavern walls. The string snaps and we're absorbed back in love. Fields burning, the songs returning like I never did before. The moon is waning, but the stars are singing back when I was young, when I was young. It's hunting season again. The leaves aren't even red. The leaves aren't even red. Give a man a moment to heal before he's gone. The string snaps and we're absorbed back in love. pull down into the underflow, dispersed and reborn. The fields burning, the songs are turning like I never did before. The moon is waning, the stars are singing like back when I was young. When I was young, the way the wind moved in the trees was lost for years. The subtle undertones of life finally are clear. The fields are burning, the songs are turning like I never did before. The moon is waning, the stars are singing back when I was young. When I was young. When I was young.
Well, thank you so much, Laura. It was just wonderful to listen to you. And I got to tell you, I love your music so much. I know that our audience has enjoyed it as well. Tell us, where will you be seen? Like, where can people watch your shows?
I'm playing next at June 20th for a special summer solstice event at Pacific Moon Rising in the Noose Bay, as well as the Waterfront concert series for the Noose Bay Cafe, and that on June 27th with my band New Road Echo. It's a fun country band, quite different from what I'm doing here. And then I'm playing all the wonderful farmers markets in town, as well as Modo Yoga once in a while as too.
Well, if you want to know a little bit more about her story, she was a guest on my Act 3 radio program on CHLY 101.7 FM. So I do encourage you to go to our YouTube station and check out that conversation. It was really, really impactful for me, and I hope it will be for you as well. But unfortunately, we can't do any more right now, so I have to say goodbye to our team and say goodbye to our guests. So you'll excuse me for a moment while I do that.
Thank you again so much.
Such a pleasure, such a pleasure. Well, you know what? That's it for another episode of Act 3. And we're always super glad that you join us and that you enjoy our guests. And one of the things that I love the most about this community is how well we all come together. But I also know that none of this work gets done without our volunteers. And with our volunteers now, it's time for them to have a little bit of a rest. So the next couple of episodes that we will be doing are just one-on-ones with myself and a couple of our community members. And so I hope you will stay tuned for those shows. Amanda Cutting, who you saw not last show, but the show before, she's gonna have some of her theater crew do a little bit of the work that she's doing on stage. So it's very, very exciting. The other thing I just want to remind you of is that right now, during the whole month of June and well into July, and truly it should be every day, is World Elder Abuse Awareness. And June 15th, of course, is actually that day. It will have passed by now, but just so you know, when you're thinking about looking after older adults in our community, consider what things look like around you. And if you need some support, please do make sure that you reach out. And for all of our older adults, as June is the celebration of all things for seniors, I'm getting awfully close to being up there. I gotta tell you, we value you, we love you, and we are so, so glad that you turn into Act 3. And for many of you who volunteer with us. So I just wanna say thanks once again. And for all of you, and for the rest of the evening, have a blast tonight. Enjoy your friends, your family this afternoon, whenever you're watching Act 3, Vancouver Island wide. Make sure you tune in. We'll see you next time on Act 3.